Hello everyone. Today I am in the east end of Sunderland. There's a clip. Sunderland Parish Church, also known as Holy Trinity, now known as 1719. I've come down here today just because I'm going to take you to probably my favourite old headstone that still remains in the whole of Sunderland. That building itself, it's built 1719. This huge area is the old graveyard for the church. So don't get me started on what happened to all the headstones. I've done a few videos on it before and written a few things about it. It's one of the biggest acts of vandalism this whole city has ever seen. It's a bitterly cold day, it's a bit windy, and I've forgotten the air mufflers again, so apologies if there's any background wind. Look at that. You can go and visit for coffee. It's open a few days a week, and it's lovely. It's all been done up. It's a great space. In the background, that's Trafalgar Square. There's only, I think, 4 headstones still standing in here, and that's one for the grave of Sunderland hero Jack Crawford. I first came across the headstone I'm off to visit probably about 3-4 years ago, and if you're watching this video, if you look on the thumbnail, that image is one I took at that time. I put a black and white filter on it just to enhance the actual inscription on it. It has deteriorated since that, because I've been back a couple of times to have a look at it and so on, but it's quite slippy. Probably one of the most historic parts of where Sunderland originated. So they took all the headstones down. I think it was God almighty, it's so slippy, in the early 1950s. Some were put in this corner over there. There is one single one in the Donaldson School Gardens, but this is just a fragment of what was there, because I've inscriptions from, I think they were taken, must be late 1890s or early 1900s, and there was hundreds of them. Plus as well, any of the monuments which weren't flat stones, you couldn't lie down, so they were just all broken up. So I'll just head across. If you ever come here, wear some old shoes, because it's basically like a big dog toilet nowadays. I hope we can actually see it hasn't overgrown. But that picture in the thumbnail, that's the reason for this visit. So here, as you can see, all the headstones have been laid out in, I think, how many rows is there? 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's about 80 headstones here. As I said, it's not anywhere what was left standing. It's probably not the best light to see them because the sun's shining on here. As I said, because they're laid flat out, they take all the rain, people walking on them, dogs doing stuff on them, and just the vegetation takes its toll. As you can see, there's one for members of the McCain family. So this particular church had effectively closed around 1855, 1856, and most people would normally be buried here, buried in Sunderland Cemetery. Now, this is the one in the thumbnail. You can see it looks a lot different. It's a lovely ornate piece of work. Look at that, the little figurine at the top. It has like a ring of stone all the way around it. Some tissue just to scrape this little bit off. As you can see, there's moss, everything on it. And I'll just show you what I think. We're not going to see much on this. That is superior. Most of it is in Latin. Now, this memorial is for a young girl called Susanna Morrison. Now, when I visited a few years ago, I made a translation best I could from the headstone, and it has it says, "Here lies," and then in brackets, "once the receptacle of beauty and innocence and witness superior to her years, the remains of Susanna, the daughter of Martin Morrison of Newcastle upon Tyne, universally beloved and ever to be regretted. She ceased to be mortal on the 4th of October 1793, aged 4 years 10 months." And then the Latin after that, this is Tam Charo Capilli Munis Quintilium Pater M. Morrison. Pater means father, and then it's Hoce et Avunculus, which is uncle, J. Hampson Notissimus Sacrament. I tried to get somebody to actually give it like the perfect translation, but we couldn't really get anything. That Charo Capilli, somebody mentions might be blonde or fine hair, because I think with Latin, some of the old Latin depends on where it was written and the grammar and so on. Now, there was a death notice, which I've made a copy of here. Died Monday at Sunderland, Miss Susanna Morrison, sole daughter of Martin Morrison, Esquire, a child of singular endowments, both of body and mind, universally beloved while she lived, and infinitely regretted by all who knew her. So this is Susanna Morrison, just a young girl. Her uncle was Reverend Sampson, who was the Reverend at the nearby St. John's Church, which is just a few streets away. It was demolished back, I think it was about the 50s, 60s, something along like that. That was built because the parish church was full with the congregation, so they needed an extra church. Her uncle, he did become the rector of Sunderland Parish Church just over there. Now, I believe Martin Morrison was born in Sunderland in the 1760s. Now, when Susanna died, it mentioned that they had lived at Whitestones, which is possibly a place near High Heworth, but there were several Whitestones over Gateshead where it mentions they were from the Gateshead area. Now, Martin Morrison was to become the chief margin agent for the Blackett Bowman Lead Mining Company, which was based at Weardale, Allendale. So that was a grand job, one of the most important mining jobs in the northeast, and would have involved lots of travel down to London, organising deals and sorting out the mines and so on. By coincidence, my granddad is a Blackett, and he's a distant relation of that particular Blackett family who owned the mines. And before time's grandfather, Thomas Emerson, he was a mining agent for the same company a few decades later up in Weardale, because my Emerson family come from Wellup and Killip originally back in the 1700s. Now, Martin and Susanna, they were later to live in a fine house, Charlotte Square, which is just off Westgate Road in Newcastle. It's that lovely, I think it's Georgian, square. That was where they lived, and they both actually died in 1827. Sarah, the mother, she died at Hampton Common in London, and Martin died at Charlotte Square later in that year. So they both died. I don't think they had any other children. I can't remember finding any other ones. But this is why I always get about these particular headstones. It just shows you how much history was in these particular ones. Luckily, some people with an interest in history back in the 1800s and early 1900s did record some of them, most of them really. I didn't know these headstones were at the back of here till about 4 years ago. A lovely quiet spot this is. Great place to visit. You've got the Sunderland Parish Church there, you've got the Donaldson School, and you've got the Trafalgar Square. You've got the Sunderland Orphanage, Boys Asylum is just across there. You've got the Town Moor probably the most historic part of old Sunderland. But the headstone for Susanna would have been all hand carved by a skilled mason. It took a few days, a week or so, to actually put this together. Simple tools. But it's such a shame because look at this, it's waterlogged as well now. Absolute beautiful headstone. It's a shame these couldn't have been kept and put. The actual church is fenced off from this particular public space, so they could have been kept in there, nice and tidy for posterity. But as you can see, there's probably about no more than 100 headstones over there. At the back of the Donison School, there is one random headstone which is in there for some reason. I did a story on Facebook, but there's loads up there. There's one of these headstones is for the Eshelby family, which is a great story. There's two young boys left as orphans in the early 1800s as their parents both died. One went off to be I think it was like a butler down in Gloucestershire. Another one became like a general in the American Civil War. That's really close up there. Look. Also Mary Franklin. The above Matthew Franklin departed this life 17th of February. I think that's aged 36 years. Lovely lettering. The Swards ones at the back I've never seen because they're always undergrowth. This is the burial place. I'm not going to scratch it all off because I haven't got anything to use. Departed this life May, I think it's 1809, aged 6 months. I think that's it. This might be Hutchinson. Like little ornate little thing on the end. So that is the memorial for Susanna Morrison. So thank you very much for watching this video. It does help if you click on the like and choose to subscribe. Give you one last shot of the area. Lovely blue sky, but rather cold. So thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time. Thanks a lot. Bye.